Nau mai, whakarongo mai, ki te Aotai whenua. Welcome to Country Life. I'm Sally Round. Lovely to have you join us in this episode of our summer series when we revisit some of the people and places we've been to over the past year around rural Aotearoa. Today we have a smorgasbord of goat's milk, microgreens and potatoes for you. So let's tuck in. And it's spuds at the top of the menu. Cosmo Kentish Barnes is with Sarah Mosley in South Otago.
We're at Kowhai Bush Farms down in Stirling, and we are a potato farm. Yeah.
As we speak, one of your employees has driven past us on a forklift truck with a big box of potatoes.
Yeah, so we wash all of the potatoes predominantly the day before they pack out, so they've got time to dry. So yeah, that's the wash plant over there, and we grow 7 different varieties. So at the moment they're washing Agria.
What other varieties do you grow?
We have Red King, Red Rascal, Van Rosa, Desiree, Agria, Nadine, Marisanka, and then this year we're actually testing out a couple of different varieties, Butte, Flamenco and Everest. But yeah, we're just trial running them this year, so hoping that their shelf life is a bit longer.
Yes. And what is the most popular variety?
Agria, that's sort of the yellow flesh potato. So it's quite like a nice texture when you mash it, and it crisps up quite well. Like you always see on restaurant menus, twice baked Agria or double fried Agria potato fries. They seem to like advertising that that's the variety they use, but personally I don't think it's that great, but that seems to be what everyone loves.
What's your favourite spud?
The Marisanka is probably the most flavourful one that we've got, but it also causes a lot of issues growing and packing, so it's probably my least favourite production-wise, but taste-wise is probably the best.
Now, your family have been growing potatoes for generations, haven't they?
Yeah, so I'm 6th generation currently. Originally there was William Alfred Mosley who came out on the John Wycliffe boat in like 1850 something. Yeah. And he started growing potatoes on Inchclutha, which we still grow potatoes currently, and then he had like 11 children, so there's been a lot of dispersing, but yeah, ever since the Mosleys have farmed on Inchclutha, and we still currently lease some of the land that he started out on, so it's quite cool that it's spanned, but it started really developing from my grandfather. He probably grew maybe 40 hectares to like diversify with dairy farming, and then they decided that it worked quite well, and so within him and my father sort of grew it from there. Yeah.
And so how many hectares of potatoes are you growing?
140 hectares. And we also lease land. We've actually started growing down in Southland as well, so we're carting them all the way from down there. And at the moment we're digging in Milton, so it's about 50-50 I think what we own and then lease. Yeah.
Now, what's your role here, Sarah?
A bit varied. Yeah, if it was a title, it would be like production manager. So I sort of do the day-to-day operations here at the yard and manage the staff. We have about 20 to 25 at a time employees. So yeah, just sort of delegating roles and then overseeing the operation here at the yard.
And what's your background? Because you've only recently come back to the farm.
Yeah, well, it's actually gone very quickly. I've been back almost 5 years now. So it came back into 2019. But previously I was in the hospitality industry.
And you spent some time studying hospitality in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I started my diploma in Queenstown at the QRC College and then went to Switzerland to finish my degree there, and then had to do an internship in the Caribbean, and then actually finished my degree in Sydney. So yeah, I sort of got to travel around a bit with my studies, so that was cool.
And before you came back to the farm, you were managing a hotel in Wellington?
Yeah, that's correct. The Bay Plaza up in Wellington. I was operations manager there for about 2 years. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but just got the call to come home.
Yeah, well, how did that work? Did your dad ask you to come down, or did you get sick of living in a big city?
No, it was just sort of, we were looking at what was going to happen, future planning, and Dad was wanting an extra set of hands, and my brother couldn't leave his job, what he was doing currently, and I was probably a bit more flexible.
So you packed your bags and came home?
Yeah, I had more opportunities down here. I've been able to buy my own house and stuff, which I never would have been able to do in the city, and yeah, it's a way different lifestyle, but we work very great hours here. We do Monday to Friday, 8 till 4:30, so it's not the typical farming hours. So also very different to the shifts of hospitality.
And how is business going?
Good. I think a lot of the growers have had a good season, whereas last year there was a shortage on potatoes, whereas this year I think we're going to have an oversupply.
Does that mean potato prices might drop a bit?
Potentially, I mean, the price that we sell them to the supermarket is fairly constant. You know, it's sort of, it's them that adjust the prices, so yeah.
And people can also come here and buy their potatoes directly, which is nice for the locals.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really good, and it's a super affordable way, and it also means that we can sell some of our seconds. You can get a 20 kilo bag here for $12, which is a lot of food. And I mean, there's technically nothing wrong with them. They're just not quite up to the supermarket standard. They might have a few nicks or cuts or not be the right size.
Yes. So how many tonnes of potatoes do you produce in a year on average? Because I'm guessing it would be heaps off 140 hectares.
Yeah, I think the estimate is we get about 50 tonne off a hectare. But about 50% of it almost works out to be waste or seed. So what actually packs out is not as much. But we pack out 10 to 15 tonne a day to the supermarkets. So
You've got trucks coming and going all the time?
Yeah, so the truck that's just pulled in now has just come from Milton. That's Freshly Harvest Agrias.
Who's this on the forklift here?
This is Peter. He's been with us for a year, maybe. He's one of our truck drivers. Sorry, Pete.
Now we're looking at the freshly dug potatoes and they're relatively clean, aren't they, already?
Yeah, they're not too bad.
Is that because the machine shakes off most of the mud?
Yeah, and we are pretty lucky with where we grow that we've got relatively good soil. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, oh, there's more dirt than potato in there, but at the moment we're pretty lucky. But yeah, we've got a bit of scab on these ones, which isn't great.
Yeah, why is that?
It's generally to do with the soil or what's been grazed on the paddock the year before. So these will generally go straight to the wash shed where there'll be someone on the what we call the dirty end, and they'll remove the dirt and anything really obviously stuff that's wrong with them like this. And then they will go through the clean end, and then ideally we would have 2 people grading them there, and then they get graded for a final time before they get packed out, where you would have 2 people grading them again.
A lot of quality control.
Yes, yeah. We try to do our best.
What do you love about this work? Because as we've discussed, it's quite different to what you trained to do.
Yeah, I mean, everything's all transferable, right? Like there's still a lot of staff management in hospitality, and so that's sort of all transferable because they do all the sort of HR side of stuff on this here as well. And I don't know, it's just different every day sort of thing. Not cooped up in an office, get to be outside or, yeah.
What are the hardest things about your role here?
I think it's just disappointing when you have a bad crop. It makes it really difficult from our perspective as well as what you're providing to your customers, because it makes our life so much harder here as well because there's so much to take out. It slows everything down because you have to try and get the bad quality ones out. And then, yeah, obviously customers aren't always happy and you get complaints. But no, we're pretty lucky. We've got a really good staff team. We've got one staff member who's been here over 30 years, and then there's probably almost 10 people that have been here 10 years plus. So we're really lucky that we've got that team that knows what they're doing and is reliable. So
yes. Are your future plans to grow the business?
It would take probably quite a bit to grow it further. We'd need all new machinery realistically. We're sort of running at capacity with what we have currently. So yeah, we would need to look at investing in more technology, I guess.
Sarah Mosley talking to Cosmo Kentish Barnes at the family potato farm in South Otago. Now to the outskirts of Wellington, where Janina Schwanecker met the Steenkamp family and 2 types of kids.
Come on!
Hey girls, come on! Hop, hop, hop! Come on!
They just come out of nowhere, don't they?
In a red barn near Brooklyn, in the wild hills surrounding Wellington, it's almost time for milking. I'm meeting Naomi and Franz Steenkamp of the Brooklyn Creamery, a couple who chased their dream of a family-focused life on the land.
Come on, girls! Hop, hop, hop! Come on!
So I'm Naomi.
And I'm Franz.
Welcome to our farm. We actually, as the crow flies, about 5 k's away from the beehive. We have a beautiful herd of dairy goats, and we've been supplying Wellington since late 2021 with the local fresh goat milk.
Naomi takes me round the paddock to meet the girls. She knows each of them by name. We're joined by the couple's 4 children.
Nika! Kaiser! Owen! Magic!
The kids give me their best goat impressions. How many goats do you have here on the property?
So about 63 goats. We have had more goats in the past, but this is our comfortable number. So we want to make sure that we are doing the best that we can with the resources that we've been given. And 63 animals for me, knowing that I've got to do all of their hooves, feed them, house them, care for them, make sure that when I go out I can do my daily head count and I can really understand what's going on. That's a good amount for me, and I know 60 sounds like it's an awful lot, but that is also made up of some milkers, some pregnant animals, some dry animals that we hope to keep some offspring from in future. So we're and also kid goats as well. Every so often I do get people on lifestyle blocks asking us, do we have animals? And I often say to them the best thing that they can do is get kid goats, raise them up so that they're very easy to manage. They come when you call them, and we've found that journey, you actually get a really nice response with the goat itself. It becomes more like a pet.
We're coming up now to the kidding pen. Is that right?
This is actually what we call their loafing barn. So we have on-tap baleage and hay, and they can have that. They also have their water. This is where they sleep at night. Free access to the salt blocks. And what ends up happening here as well is we believe in circular systems. So a lot of what's here is just a little bit of waste hay, a little bit of waste baleage, and then their poop. We're not certified organic, but we operate under very organic processes. We also utilise permaculture in our farming initiative, and we believe in all of the inputs we put in are organic. Where I'm getting at is what we do from time to time is we actually dig out this bed. It's actually quite warm for them when you leave it over winter. So there, as it builds up, we take it out a few times a year, and then we actually have a place where we have compost. And so what we do is we move it and then we turn it, and sort of the next cab off the rank for us will be to offer it to community food groups as a way of returning it back into a food growing. So it's like full circle, really.
The 40-hectare block is surrounded by wild gorse and a mob of smaller feral goats, a remnant of the cashmere goats which once roamed the hills before the collapse of the industry in the 1980s. They stand a good deal shorter than the Steenkamp's herd.
In New Zealand, the Saanen are white, by the way, and they're a Swiss breed of dairy goat. Initially, we were attracted to the white goats because they're so very different from the ferals that you can see in the hills. But the thing is, with the goats that we do have here, our goats are twice the size as the ferals, as we were talking before. And ours is a completely different breed.
Do you kid just once a year, or?
So we've actually tried every trick in the book, if you like. So as we were learning in the early stages, we were learning, what happens when you do certain things. Now, there's a reason why a lot of the farmers just do it once a year, and then they retire their animals for a certain period where they're dry, just to get them nice and strong before their next lactation season. And we did that for the first 2 years of being commercial, and then this last season we decided to try something different. There were 2 reasons for that. The first reason was when we were out of milk, meaning the goats were dry, here in Wellington, people were still wanting the milk. And so we were like, okay, how do we achieve that? So what we came up with was we would only mate half of the herd, and we'd do that early, and then we would make the other half in the normal time frame. And so it really was a case of a little bit of, come on goats, see what we can do here. And funnily enough, we took advantage in December of a cold snap, which meant that the girls came into heat and the boys were ready to go for the ones that we had selected to mate. And so we have had a kidding in May, and you would have seen some of the little babies that we've got from our May kidding. And we've also got the other half of the herd that are due in the next week or so through till early September. And that boost will mean that we were able to actually finally launch some of our new products that we've been trialling at the Harbourside Market that we do every Sunday. And we'll be able to get those into store as well.
The family services Wellington with farm-to-fridge milk. Goat milk is a popular dairy alternative due to it being naturally A2, making it more easily digestible.
It's a lot of it when you're, a farm-to-fridge type of thing is we're looking at trying to do things for our customers, but we're also at the absolute, we need the goats to... we whisper in their ear and say, this is what we'd like to do, girls, and it really is up to them because ultimately we don't want the goats to do anything unnatural. Our whole philosophy is that we like to work in systems, so we like to work with nature, and we understand that sometimes there are items we're talking about before, the compost that we have here, that's a waste product that we have, but it's going to be an input into somebody else's system in future. And then also just looking at, we're in the business of milking goats here. We are wanting to do the best that we can with the resources that we have. And if we don't critically assess the animals that we do have and only take forward those animals that are in really good health, that are producing really well and that we can continue to look after and care for, there are from time to time animals, and sometimes those animals are little boys who we haven't found homes for, or we haven't been able to sell as bucks, because we're also really mindful that we are part of a dairy goat breeding society, and any animal that I wasn't prepared to keep for myself, I wouldn't want to go and give that animal to somebody to breed, because we're looking at the animal from a conformation perspective. We want it to grow up and be a really good example of a dairy goat. I can't keep them all, is what I'm saying, and that's the hardest part of this whole thing. I've got 4 kids of my own, and I feel like I'm a bit of a midwife now to the caprine world, because, we take these animals, right from their first breaths, if you like, until their last, and it's the last kind of thing you can do for an animal that is given herself in service, is to give them a big cuddle and have a little cry, and then just help them on their way. So.
And how many kids do you roughly have each season? Or obviously the first time you guys have done it twice.
Yeah. So we're probably we like to keep about 24 for ourselves for replacements. And so we're probably looking at 2/3 again, about 60 animals as kids. That said, this season we won't have quite so many because we haven't kidded as many.
A portion of their sales go back to the family's caprines for conservation projects, such as pest control and native planting efforts on farm. Back in the shed, it's time for milking.
So we have got 2 RMPs here. So one of them is for harvesting the milk. So harvesting is such a weird word, but basically it's going, okay, we've got the milk inside of the animal, we need to safely take that outside of the animal in a really kind way, and then what we need to do is we need to get it into our vat so that we can do processing later on. So processing for us, all it is a heat treatment. So we do whole milk. So what we're about to do is we're going to, with the goats that we've got left in there, we're going to milk them. The goats actually know what to do. They line up, we put them in here, they will go onto the stand. There's only 2 teats for two teats on the udder, so you'll see the machine inside only has the 2. It'll probably be a little noisy, but the interesting thing is that the rhythm is quite a fast rhythm, if you like, and the goats milk out very, very quickly. And what we do is we only milk once a day. We do it in the afternoons. It suits our lifestyle, but it also suits the goats' lifestyle as well, because they're not actually when they've got an empty udder and they'll go back down, they'll have a nice relaxing sleep without having a big udder to deal with, and then all day tomorrow they'll stand there feeding and they make milk. So when we go through here, what we're going to do is we will do 2 lines today. So we've got 24 animals that we're going to milk.
And right now, is Franz just sorting out?
He's
who
what
he
we call
wants?
drafting, yeah. So he knows, and it's actually funny, you would have seen the majority of them just weighted there, the ones that are dry or still pregnant or kid goats or whatever. We do like to just manage them as a herd, and that way we can also see if an animal needs attention. There's nothing out of the ordinary. The only thing out of the ordinary today is we've got a few extra human kids down here and yourself, and you would have seen that a couple of them are a little bit kind of like, oh, what's going on here?
What kind of volumes of milk are you guys producing at the moment?
So at the moment we're on probably 25 to 27 litres a day, and that's mainly because it's first and second lactations of the majority of the animals currently in milk. We attempted to sort of split the herd or get animals pregnant early so we could produce milk all year round. And it seemed that the smaller producers were the ones that took early, and there was a cold snap in December, and they got pregnant and they kidded early, so we are in milk, but we're not at our full volume, which is usually around the 75 to 85 litres a day from the current herd that we have.
So when we first looked into this, it was always going to be goats, but initially we thought we'd make cheese, and we watched a Country Calendar episode about Kaikoura cheese in 2016, just nearly after we'd purchased the property, and that's what we thought that we would want to go into, but we did a little bit of sort of market research and realised that actually people were wanting the basics. They were wanting a whole goat milk, and the more we looked into cheese, we realised there's already some amazing goat milk cheese makers here in New Zealand, and we're always going to be about like just filling in the gaps, what's not actually available in the market. We've always done that throughout our whole life, just been innovative and gone, you know what, we're going to, rather than compete, we're a very small nation of small dairy producers, we will just actually grow the market and do the things that no one else is doing.
Do you want to talk me through the benefits of goat milk? Obviously, it's kind of a growing choice for a lot of families as an alternative to other dairy products. What are some of the benefits of goat milk?
So I guess the biggest benefit, or the one that I come across the most down at the markets and so forth, is people come back and they say it's gentle on the tummy. They can actually handle using the milk in their coffee, in their cereal, and they don't get upset tummies. It's naturally A2, so all goat milk is A2, even the feral goats everywhere, all A2. And it's lower in lactose, it's naturally lower in fat. So when you drink the goat milk, it's got a very delicate texture to it.
One of the things that we want to do is just make sure that people have got access to, the food that basically our grandparents used to have, nice and whole, no processing. For that reason, we just, as I said before, we just take what the animal gives us, put it in the bottle, and it's into Wellington sometimes the same day that it's the day after it's
Obviously,
milked.
we pasteurise at a low temperature, the lowest temperature for the longest period, so that the whole milk is as undenatured as possible.
Well, it's one of the driving things for us is actually, we're probably the only capital city in the whole world that's got a goat farm in an inner city suburb, and that's pretty cool. So.
And we're here down at the milking shed. Time for milking soon.
Time for milking, yep.
Hey, girls. Here we go. Here we go. Yep, you can go as well. There's it. Awesome. He comes through in here. And we'll see those girls on the other side.
The goats are drafted into a 12-bay milking shed, custom tailored for sheep and goats. 2 cups are attached to their udders, and in a matter of minutes, fresh milk is pumped to the other side of the barn to be treated or pasteurised. Now hoping to be able to produce more milk year-round, the couple is also hoping to expand their products, from milk, soaps and candles to include yoghurt. With the milking done, I join Naomi as she drops off some freshly made goat's yoghurt at the nearby Vogelmorn Bowling Club, where the yogurt is a feature of the club's Wellington on a Plate burger, by smoked and pickled.
Yeah, as you can see, farm to fridge sometimes requires taking a couple of kids in tow with us and take it straight into the restaurant where it's going to be served.
Is this the first time people will get a chance to try your yogurt?
In a restaurant situation, yes. And what I'm doing is I'm actually providing them with some straining cloth, because I'm not sure of the consistency that they want it, but the chef will know what to do. And if he wants to have it a little firmer, all he needs to do is strain it and take some of the whey off. And the whey's useful as well, because it will actually help to tenderise any protein if he wants to use the whey as well. Oh goodness, it smells good, doesn't it? Hello, we are finally here. This is
The chef can relax.
Hi,
how are you?
Good to meet you. So I was just explaining to Janina that what I've done for you is we have the yogurt, and I've also given you some straining cloth, because I kind of thought you might want to strain it a little bit more and make it a little bit more spoonable, as thoroughly pourable. Here's the way that I've managed to pull off it already, so take those.
That's great.
And I'll take this one with me now. And yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's beautiful for tenderising the proteins, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Alice Lafos from Smoked and Pickled. And we're just running the restaurant, but we're actually participating to the community a lot. And for us, it's really important to highlight local businesses, especially Brooklyn-based. The closer the better when it comes to finding our product. And the burger is a part of Wellington on a Plate, Burger Wellington, that started early this week, and it goes until the 25th of August. So just, get in.
These guys here, all they do is beautiful smoked and pickled items, and really big on fermentation. And we've just started our journey with our yogurt with fermentation. So I'll be definitely getting some feedback from you about what we've done with the yogurt, and look forward to hearing from you what your customers think as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's only the beginning of the partnership anyway.
Yeah,
Really
absolutely.
looking forward to work with you more.
Yeah.
Naomi Steenkamp and Alice Lafosse ending that story produced by Janina Schwanecker. Now, the Brooklyn Creamery stopped supplying milk in September as the Steenkamps concentrate on raising their own kids. But they're urging people to continue to seek out and support local producers because, as they say, behind each one of them is a family just like ours, working harder than ever to show up and deliver.
My name is Sarah Maxwell. I am a farmer from Fielding in the Manawatu, and you're listening to Country Life on RNZ National.
To another family venture now near Te Puke in the Bay of Plenty, where I met an enterprising mother-daughter duo growing microgreens.
你希望影响看看我的种植的花吗？
可以.
You careful?
Okay.
This step.
I'm very intrigued as to what I'm going to be seeing in here. Oh my goodness, this is full of plants. Wow.
If you're lucky enough to be invited into Yuka Lee's home near Te Puke in the Bay of Plenty, you'll find yourself enveloped in greenery.
It's pretty much a wall of indoor plants in here.
I just love that. There's a little greenhouse all cutting from here. Oh, there's old mom. Like a jungle.
It's like a jungle in here.
Carly's love for growing things is not just a hobby. It's sprouted into a business with her daughter Jiang Yu. And outside the jungle-like living room, you'll find their venture, Mama Carly's farm, in a small but perfectly formed greenhouse.
And what a beautiful spot this is. Would this have been part of, I see maybe a dairy farm or
Yeah, so that's the
grazing
neighbor.
block over there?
Yeah. So this, it's quite a nice spot in Te Puke. We're not in the middle, but we're not too far from town too. Yeah. So it's a good size for us to sort of care for and realistically grow microgreen. We don't need that much land. Yeah.
That's right. You need sun though.
Yeah, we do need the sun.
Is it a sunny spot?
Yeah. So it's not too bad. Summertime it's really perfect because we get a bit of shelter from the shed beside us and.
So you do need that shade as well?
Yeah. So summertime we actually will put a shade cloth over the greenhouse too, just to sort of cover a little bit of the sun from the green from the sun, because it can be quite strong in the summertime. But yeah.
Chilly out here. Should we go back inside?
Yeah.
Jiang Yu and her mum grow microgreens. These are small but nutrient-rich vegetable seedlings, which are harvested for eating very soon after sowing.
As you can see, we're quite a small sort of operation here. So it's the total growing area about 72 square meters.
72 square meters?
Yes, yeah.
This is it here?
This is it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're supplying 35 supermarkets from
roughly,
here?
Yeah, approximately.
From this small area?
Yes.
Wow. How much are you producing a week?
The cut ready to eat pack, approximately 2,000 packs every week.
Okay. Yeah. And you cut, hand pick and deliver yourselves?
Not every store. The Bell Plenty we deliver ourselves, and everywhere else we're just using shipping.
It's a long way from Harbin in northern China, where Carly had a successful career selling shoes. She arrived from China in 2007 after meeting her Kiwi husband Steve, and Jiang Yu followed 2 years later, completing her schooling at Te Puke High.
I want to find out all about how you came to be doing this, but shall we have a look at what's happening this morning?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So we every day is quite similar but a little bit different. Of course, we do planting. It's one of the most important things. At the farm, it's one of our daily tasks is planting the trays and grains, and all the sort of trays get planted on this sort of area. Yes, you can see it's
right. So it's all at the right height, so you're not having to bend over, and a lot of this beautiful rich soil is going into trays.
Yes.
They need to plant daily because it's about a fortnight between sowing till harvest, and they have to keep pace with the orders and deliveries due down the track. The demand for Mama Carly's microgreens is so high now, they've employed Kate Crossman full-time.
Kate, what's happening here?
So we just filled the trays with soil and we're just levelling it out before we press it and then put the seeds on it.
And Carly over here as well, you're doing the same thing?
Yeah, I'm teaching them.
You're teaching?
Yeah, hobbies as well.
You're an expert.
Yeah.
So how do you enjoy this job compared to the kiwi fruit industry?
One, it's their family to me, so it's working with family, which is just great, essentially. And we're all female, so it's great.
All the girls together in the greenhouse?
Exactly.
Was there much to learn?
Yes, there was a lot to learn, just because it's a different type of growing than plonking something in the ground and then letting it do its thing.
Like hundreds of little babies, aren't they, really?
They are, yeah.
Having to keep an eye on and make sure they're going well.
Growing well,
What are your tasks? What are the jobs that you do, especially?
So we all do pretty much about the same thing. Come in, do the planting, help with the packing, the cutting, the clean up afterwards, bringing the babies out of the cabinet. Yeah.
Before Kate came on board a year ago, Jiang Yu says they were potting the greens in an even smaller shed.
We grow quite faster than we thought. We started really small. We just started with the farmers market in Taronga and Hamilton, and we sort of grew from there. It's quite a simple process. Microgreen is definitely the fastest growing veggies out there. Summertime it takes approximately maybe 7 to 9 days from seeds to harvest. Wintertime I'll say about 2 weeks, 14 days. So it does start from you just saw before with the planting. So we plant pretty much on a schedule days, and then from the trays planting, we soil seeds, and then it goes into our sprout cabinets.
Which is just here?
Yeah, so this is our sprout cabinet. It's also...
Shall we open it and see what's in there?
Yeah, so it's also purposely built. We have a heating panel in the back of the cabinet, sort of like keep all the little babies nice and warm, especially in the winter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, summertime we don't really need the heater, but winter is really, really helpful.
So they need to sprout in a dark place?
Yes, so which a lot of people actually don't really realise. They think they need to be out in the sun or need the water every day. Actually, that's not true. You can easily give a good drink when you're planting and then put them in the nice dark spot like a hot water cupboard or in your pantry with something sort of on top, keep it moist, And it take about 3 to 4 days from seeds to sort of sprout. So it sprouts like a nice yellow golden color.
Yes, starved of light.
Yes. So those ones, the bright ones, they're pretty much ready to come out today. And we'll have the baby ones sort of just sprouting.
And the bricks on top is for what reason?
It's not necessary, but with the weight on top of the seeds, it helps the baby seeds develop a healthy root system underneath. So, yeah, sometimes if you don't use the weight on top of the grains, they can grow a little bit uneven. We try to get everyone to go at the same speed and they all get the same amount of sun.
And it looks nice in the packet, I suppose, all being the same length.
Yes.
We've got fans going in here. That's what you can hear in the background. Is it important to have good ventilation?
Yes, it is really important because they're so small and they've been planted really closely. Yeah, without the fan, without the air circulation, they're actually too close together. There could be too much moisture in between each little grains. With the fan, it just help the grain push through all the air that's sitting still and help them grow healthy. Yeah.
While Kate's busy planting and misting the next crop, there's time for Jiangyu and Kali to slip out to that first little shed where it all began.
You're taking me out the back here.
Yeah, so this greenhouse is no longer for growing microgreens. It's solely Mum's hobby doing indoor plants. And that's how this is how it started.
This is tiny. This is your standard domestic tiny little greenhouse.
Yeah, this is about 12 square meters.
And this is where you started?
Yeah, that's how it started. We used all those wooden shelves we first built. Me and Mum was planting on that tiny little trolley in the middle.
Yes.
With all the trays, but we were only doing not that much trays. It's just a mixture of different plants and veggies in here, and we just felt like we need to do something else, and we're just not sure what will be the good thing for us to do. And
you wanted to start a business.
We did. That's sort of the plan, was starting a business with growing something, of course. That's always our idea. More likely doing the indoor plants because that's our passion, but it wasn't quite worked out for us.
They were too late into the market for indoor plants, so settled on the type you can eat. Their microgreens business was born in 2022.
Where did this love for green plants come from?
Oh, just from natural. I just very young, just love the plants, but no time, too busy to business.
What were you doing? What were you doing back in China?
At the beginning, I just sell the shoes.
In a big shop?
Big shop. Many different sports shoes.
Mum managed shoe stores. Yeah, so she was doing really well. And yeah, but she mentioned, she always wanted to have lots of garden, but being in the city is really hard. We have very small apartments and hard to have a garden, and when we came to New Zealand, it's like dream come true for Mum.
I love so much, it's natural. It's just very nice.
It was thanks to some help from her mother-in-law that got Kali started in the growing business.
She's Kiwi lady, so she had beautiful outside garden lady, very nice, and I just same design, just thinking, and sometimes copy, yeah, just outside or inside, and just the cutting, and I just try, and it just happened.
You have what we call green fingers.
是你会弄植物的意思。你很自然的就会
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Because I love it. I like. You're very enjoying that. Yeah, green fingers.
Tell me what happened over the pandemic period, because that's what kind of thrust you into this business.
Yes, it's sort of a push. I'm always sort of in the mind of doing something on my own that I would actually enjoy. My job was care for indoor plants. That was my job title, indoor plant technician. So I goes to different offices. I'll design the plants for the layout. I would water them and look after them as well. So with the pandemic, a lot of the big office, like the council buildings and big power company, they end up closing the main office, everyone working from home, and the plants was in the building, they had to be removed. after that sort of happened, I lost my job, and me and Mum already had a really big crush or passion on the indoor plants, and we thought we could do something along the line with that. And realistically, for us two girls, we're doing like a traditional farming. It's just not realistic. We don't have machinery. We don't have that much land, and we sort of look at maybe we could do something like microgreen. It's easy. It's not a lot of investment. We just bought some trays. We did a bit of research as well, and we're quite lucky in the Bell Plain. There's no other microgreen growers in this area.
And this is a growing area.
Yes. So
with a lot of young people.
Yeah.
And I guess they like their microgreens, do they?
Yes, they
Is
do.
that what you found?
Yeah, we found microgreens so versatile. Also, I guess it started a little bit like a trendy, fancy garnish. I think that's what people think. I put a little bit of microgreen on my meal and make it look nice. And that's what people always thought about microgreens, and that's sort of what we kind of thought at the beginning too. When we start growing, we thought we could grow lots and then take to the market and go to the restaurant and etc. But that wasn't quite how the way everything is heading. We're going to the market and we have people that love them and they eat them every day. And they said, oh, can't live without it in my sandwich. And then we thought, it must be really it's special. We knew it's special, so I started doing more research on microgreen. And we start to get really, really amazed how beneficial it can be to your diet.
Back in the greenhouse, the daily tasks continue to ensure the microgreens get off to a good start.
So now it looks like some misting is happening here, some water, some very fine mist going on those trays. And Carly, this is one of the chores that you do. How often?
This is for water, 12 times.
The greens do need a really good drink before they go into a dark place, because if they're sprouting for 3-4 days, we don't water anything in between. So we have to give them enough for them to be happy for another 4 days. When they come out, they should be sort of this type of color, nice and golden, and we'll give them a really, really good drink. And from sort of this will be 5 days, nice and golden, still fairly small. And when you're moving to sort of this size, this will be probably about 8 days. So it's only a few days different. They start changing colors and the leaves start to open up more as well.
So they've gone from this rather kind of pale and skinny looking sprout, and then they turn into these beautiful, very thick leaves.
Yeah, we have people describing them like it looks like a fluffy carpet.
True, it does.
A green fluffy carpet, because when you sort of pack it up and move it around, it's quite nice. It jiggles around a little bit, and
with pops of purple in there as well.
Yes.
How many different types of microgreen do you have? I see you have different colours.
We grow total 5 different type of microgreens. We have the broccoli, which is really nutrient dense. It's proven to have up to 40 times more nutritious than standard broccoli, like mature broccolis. It tastes very similar to mature broccoli. It's nice and mild. Yes, it's one of our very popular greens. Yes, people use them in smoothies, juicings, and you can actually, of course, use it in sandwiches, salads as well. It's nice and mild. There's no spice in it at all, which a lot of people do enjoy that.
Oh. Yeah. And can I taste a little?
Yeah, of course. I have had people taste them and they think it's really sweet. If you don't have like a really sweet palate, or if you don't eat a lot of sugar, you found microgreen broccoli really sweet. Yeah, which is quite nice.
And the purple?
The purple is radish mix, and it's nice and zesty, a little bit spicy. Also, is a lot of people's favorite as well. So those two totally opposite. One's nice and mild, one's like spicy and zesty. Yeah, so,
and this one over here?
And this is
a mixture, isn't it?
Yeah, so we grow, I'll say, 80% of our greens mixture. Me and Mum actually come up with this mix. We trialed and mix different greens before, and we come up with 8 different veggie blend. Being like background Chinese, we love the number 8. and more the better, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, we come out the eight veggie blends, and it's definitely our most popular greens there. And you could just use very small bit on your sandwiches, and it give you like really good amount of nutrient in your sort of daily diet.
Now tell me about how it is working with your mum.
It's
always fighting.
No, not always fighting. Of course, there'll be up and downs, just like mother and daughter. You're on the same page, but you also have your own ideas and stuff. But I feel like me and mum definitely grow a long way from the beginning, understanding what each other's like strengths and weakness, and I guess compromising as well. And of course, mum always come on top because it's your mother.
What about your family back home in China? What do they think about what you're doing?
他说在家里面人觉得你在种这个菜怎么样？
Very good. She's you city girl, but you a moment the farmer girl.
Yeah. It's a bit of shock for them because mum always been appear to be a city person, and the same as the family back at home. We don't have farmers in the family. Yeah. And
Now why? So you have actually named the business after your mother, haven't you?
Yes. And without mum, this business wouldn't be here. Without mum and Steve's support. And when we're thinking of the name for the business, it's kind of like Mama Colour, and it sounded really good. It rhymes. It feels a little bit, I guess, down to earth. We're not a big fancy business or anything, so we don't need a fancy name. We're not sure what's the future will bring. We actually just want to sort of focus, grow good products. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves and just enjoying the process and just see where the future sort of lead for us, and just keep the quality good and still enjoying what we're doing. And just like Mum said at the beginning, we love what we're doing and it makes us happy.
Does it make financial sense? Is it paying?
Yes, it's doing more than we could expect for being a small business. It's only been 2 years, so much more than we thought we could do.
I should get into the microgreen business, I think.
I was speaking there to Jiang Yu and also her mum, Yu Ka-li, at their greenhouse near Te Puke, bringing us to the end of this summer episode of Country Life. Stories were produced and presented by Cosmo Kentish Barnes, Janina Schwanecker and me, Sally Round, and engineered by Phil Benge and William Saunders. The team's been busy over the summer to bring you a new series of Country Life starting next week. So tune in then, or take a moment to check out our podcast so you can listen whenever you like. Follow us on any podcast app. Stories and photos can be found at this web address, rnz.co.nz/countrylife. And you can contact the team at country@rnz.co.nz. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for joining us. Mā te wā.